that one belief eliminated from your brain could change the course of your reality. Would you want that? It's not for everyone, only the brave. Those who want to own their life like the powerful leaders they were born to be. A pivotal moment can change everything. Now, here's the host of Crossroads to Awakening show, Wendy Paquette.
Hello and welcome everyone to the Crossroads to Awakening show. I'm your host, Wendy Paquette. I'm a holographic mind reprogrammer. I help humans stuck at the crossroads awaken to their true selves and change the world from where they stand. Because I believe as a high-frequency human, how you see your life is exact reflection of all the programs that are etched into your brain, and those programs can easily be shifted. So if you'd like to step inside my domain and shift those programs, come see me at wendypaquette.com and come and leave me a message there, and I will get back to you and we will talk about these things. So welcome today to the episode of all episodes called The Magic in Your Mind, right? The magic in your mind, how to have everything and anything you want. This is also our first TV episode, so at the same time as I'm talking to you live on the radio, we are recording, and it is amazing. So let's get into this, because this is an incredible opportunity for us to really take a deep dive into what's possible, because your mind is this quantum computer, and it has programs, and those programs are what's dictating your reality. And if you're not happy with that reality, then let me tell you something. You can change it. It's impossible for it not to change, but it starts here. Because if you wait until your life changes for you to see it, you're going to be waiting a really, really long time. And I'm sure that that's not what you like. In fact, I can imagine that you're probably in that space that you are sick and tired of waiting for your life to show up for you. So that's where we get to play today, because there's all kinds of spaces we can go, but it's going to lead into what's truly possible for you, and it all starts with the magic of visualization. That is my zone of genius, my domain, this space where I play in every given moment, and that is where the programs can be shifted so that your reality can actually be everything you want it to be. So let's get started. The first question I have is, are you frustrated with your life? Are you really, really frustrated? Do you think you should be further along in your reality, in your life, in your career, in your joy, in your relationships than you kind of thought you would be? Or did you even have any expectations as to what that would look like? Like really, when you were younger, did you even imagine yourself 10 years out, 20 years out, 30 years out? If you're in your 20s and you're not imagining yourself in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, let me tell you, there's going to be an eye-opening awakening when you get there, because what you're imagining for yourself is what's coming to fruition. So if you're not imagining anything, you're just letting the free wills of the world show up, and you're navigating them, one step at a time, wherever they may lead. Now, that could be fine, and you could find an amazing experience as your life in this space. However, if you're driven and ambitious, like myself, and are always after more education and more experiences to awaken your consciousness and expand your consciousness, then how will you ever get there? And better yet, how will you ever know that you're getting there? Because let's face it, your reality is a direct reflection of the thoughts, feelings, and emotions you carry and store in your brain. And because of that supercomputer that you have right in this beautiful temple that you're wearing, it's leading you somewhere, and it gets to have a GPS direction. And if it doesn't have one, you can only ask yourself why. You haven't set one yet, right? You haven't set a direction. So this is where we begin, in this space of, thinking that you should be further along. You can think that only if you're in comparison mode to somebody else. Right? If you're comparing your life to someone else that you love or you care about or you admire, then that comparison mode is going to cause you to feel like a failure. It's going to cause you to feel like you should be somewhere else, because maybe your indicators are the age group or the gender or the genre of the things that you love, maybe your business or your career aspects. So when you're in comparison mode, you can only see their version of their reality, their current version. You can't see how far they came. You can't say when they started and when they like move themselves forward every notch of the way in order to get where they are. You have no idea, right? And if you haven't done that, that's exactly why you're where you are right now, because you've not set some kind of trajectory, energetic quantum trajectory for yourself in order to achieve or get somewhere, right? And the only way we can see that we're there is by having something to gauge that result with. So that would be today, I don't know, say if you're in business and you decide, okay, I'm going to set my target for achieving X amount of dollars in my Q1 experience. So for 3 months, 90 days. So say you want to generate, I don't know, $50,000. If you're going to generate $50,000, it doesn't matter the how, it matters that you're making that declaration. You're setting that GPS to land there. Or what if you want to enhance your spiritual capacity? You want to expand your nature to understand greater aspects in consciousness. Okay? You might not know what that looks like, but setting the intention to have a different, a more advanced, multi-dimensional experience, you'll know when you get there. Trust me. I've been there. But not setting the target is where you get to really look at. If you have yet to acknowledge yourself and your reality and go, you know what? I'm not really pleased at where I'm at right now. So, I want to change it. That's step number one, is acknowledging where you're at. Moving forward would be, well, where do I want to be and in what time frame, right? So perhaps in 90 days, which would be a quarter. So I don't know if you're going to talk business quarters. In 90 days, I would like to be, experiencing a regular practice of meditation where I'm consciously and deliberately getting in touch with myself, right? My inner knowing, my higher awareness, my higher self, whatever you'd like to call it. And practicing that on a daily basis. When I'm doing that as part of my regular everyday life and it becomes a habit, it will automatically enhance my reality and I will be 90 days further than I am today, right? So it's about looking at your life and not being in comparison mode, right? Not comparing yourself to others, because that is a sure way to lean into a reticular activating system of seeing failure everywhere, because you're looking at everyone else and what they have and what you don't, right? Nobody wants to be there. Come on, get out of that space. You get to look at where you want to go, because it can happen very quickly. You may set a 90-day target, but that sucker might happen. Your reality might shift and change and quantum leap and do it in a week. How could you know if you're not actually setting that target? So that's the number one thing, to actually identify where you're at right now and give yourself some grace. It's really difficult to be in grace and gratitude and also judge the crap out of yourself because you're not where you think you should be, right? That's just being in comparison mode. So that's the first thing. The second thing, so we're going to, kind of go back and forth, because I'm going to tap into each individual aspect of what it looks like to be the magic in your mind, because the magic is in the deciding. Now, sometimes they say deciding actually will mess with what you're after. But in this case, when I say deciding, we're talking a visualization that's in constant change, right? So today, say I'll speak into my vision because it's the easiest thing for me to talk about. My big vision is peace, in particular inner peace, because I know that my outside is a direct reflection of my inside. And so inner peace would generate to me an automatic outer peace. Now, not just for me. I see that as a human experience for everyone on this planet and the multiverse, because it ripples out, not just to the people on the planet, the plants, the animals, all things living, but literally all things living. All things living from here until the end of time, which means every multidimensional being is going to experience my shift. That makes it so worth it, right? Not just for minuscule little me sitting here all by myself pretending I'm playing the lonely game. It's not a game that's played. It's not even a game. It's a construct in your mind, thinking you're doing life alone, because you're not. Most people, I imagine, when they leave this planet, don't realize how many people they actually impacted just by their mere existence, right? Maybe your neighbors, your friends, your families, your colleagues, people that you see at the grocery store. If you see people on a regular basis, even if you're the consumer, you're the shopper, you're the purchaser of the Starbucks coffee, even if you're that, if you're doing that regularly and you're seeing the same faces, you are creating an impact. Even if you're not seeing the same faces, just your mere presence will create an impact. So you get to be really clean and clear on having a beautiful visualization of what your big vision is the key to the magic of your mind. Because that reticular activating system is going to find you looking at aspects that are representing your big vision, right? So including in that big vision is we're going to have actionable targets, maybe 30, 60, 90 days or further on out. But your vision is to the future, big F, capital F, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the road, right? What does life look like for you and everyone else in it? And from that space, then allow yourself to start driving towards that target. Everything you do gets to be in alignment with that target, right? Visualization is the absolute key to freedom in any sense of the matter, because when you're activating the scientific nature of your brain, that quantum computer that exists in your body, you're literally writing your own success. It's impossible to fail because there's no such thing as failure, right? There's experiences that are drawn into your life in order for you to know what to do, what to experience, what you like, what you don't like, and what not to do, and what your experience is, what you like, and what you don't like. Like, I'm not saying create like massive disasters. I'm saying live your life, right? And know that it's all divinely met because you've called it in. And if you've called in some lessons, you get to own those lessons. Own them, receive them, learn them, move through them, break through them, and actually step into the breakthrough that you get to have, which will cause you to be that much closer to your vision in this reality. So use this. Use your mind. Use what it has for you available right now in every second that you're conscious, that you're awake, right? When your eyes are open in the morning, bing, you're beginning. That's why when you're looking at a lot of the ways that these powerful humans are creating these massive results in their life is because from the second that their eyes pop open in the morning, they're not hitting snooze on the clock. Their ass is popping out of bed, running, out of their room to get their life started because it's on purpose, right? They're divinely creating their reality based on a big vision, and they're led by their inspired action in this reality in this now. That's huge. And, this is the incredible part about that. It's available to everyone, not just them. They're just the brave ones that are willing to choose it. It's not easy, but it's simple. And simplicity is the key. If it's simple, then you can let go of the fact that it might be hard for a little while and then it gets easier, just like everything else in the world. Unless you're one of those people that you're really good at everything. You get to own that aspect of, you know what, I'm going to choose it on purpose because I'm headed somewhere, really headed somewhere. And, not everyone's doing it. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that because that's a journey as well. But at some point, we come back to ourselves to know that there's more. There's a greater opportunity out there for us that we can actually lock onto. And it has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with what we really want, what our big vision is, and how that could look in the world. And leaning into that will cause your experience of everything else that you want. So, yes, money might be a part of our everyday reality. Yes, it's what we use to get around in the world and how we change things. But your viewpoint of it gets to be different. Because how you see money is how you see the world. If you see getting money or being money or experiencing money or earning money or generating money as being hard, that's just one energetic aspect of your life. Look at the rest of your life, and I imagine you would probably think the same thing. And if you don't, after the break, we're going to talk about that. Because that is your gateway, your key to having this experience of having it all and using your mind to get there. So we're going to be walking into our first break. And while you're on the break, I want you to really get clean and clear that you get to have a vision. And you know what? If you're avoiding that aspect of it, there's a reason, because your vision's probably huge and it will have impact. So we'll get tight and tidy with all those great things. We'll lean into that because you know what? If you're listening to this, you are meant to change the world from where you stand. That is my intention for being here. That is my purpose. That is why I'm here. So lean in on your life. Keep listening and stand by while we're going into our first break because we are on the Inspired Choices Network. And my name is Wendy Paquette, and you are listening to the Crossroads to Awakening show. And my friend, it is your time to awaken. So we'll see you right after this break and hear you and feel you and experience you.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Crossroads to Awakening radio show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now back to the program.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. So listen, we have a lot of thinking to do. And when I say thinking, I mean good thinking, like vision thinking, thinking about your vision like you've never thought about it before. And if you haven't allowed yourself, that's a key, right? Why are you not letting yourself actually lean into what's truly possible for you? Because if it's possible for anyone else, if you're seeing success anywhere else in your reality, guess what, friend? It's possible for you. Because seeing is believing, and if it's successful somewhere, you have the capacity to actually choose it as well. But what if your vision is bigger, grander, and more beautiful? Because to them, whoever you're seeing as successful, that is their vision. It's not for you to decide what their vision would feel like. It's up to you to decide what yours would. And that's the space where lives are changed. Can you imagine right now, in this world we're in? We're in September, 21st of 2020. Like far into a crazy pandemic. Coming up to, there's elections around the globe, right? I'm in Canada, so I'm looking at it from other aspects. And the world is in a very strange space. And to be honest with you, there's a gratitude inside of this space because we've all been given the gift of a pause, right? A gracious, conscious pause to decide what really matters to us and what we'd really like to experience in our reality. And now's the time to actually access your biggest vision so that reality can be shifted because of you on purpose, right? Because you said so. There is no greater opportunity for you on this planet. If you think you don't matter, I'm here to tell you, friend, you do. You do. And if you take just even 5 minutes to sit with yourself and ask the question, what is the world I would like to live in? How does it feel? What does it look like? How are other humans interacting with each other? What are we doing? What are you doing? What is your family doing? Like, how is everyone interacting in the world? And put a label on it. Something that is easy for you to access so you can bring it yourself to every time you think about it. So, and honestly, that should be every time it pops into your head. I mean, get that sucker, tattooed on your finger or something. Every time you look at your hand, just remember that it's up to you to create that reality. So imagine, my big vision is peace, inner peace. How do you create inner peace? Well, for me, it's everything I choose, whether it's hanging out with my friends or going online or being committed to something, maybe volunteering or working, the intention that I sit in, the world I sit in when I'm making those decisions is directly aimed by my internal GPS at inner peace. If it doesn't create inner peace, I'm not doing it. Hands down, flat out, it's a no, right? And so one thing I often speak to my clients about is, you know how they would say, well, what's on a scale of 1 to 10? Would you do it? Would you not do it? Is it a yes or a no? Here's my representation of whether it's a yes or no. Is if it's like, well, 99%, I would like to choose that. That's a no, right? Yeah, 99% is a huge percentage. But guess what? It's not 100%. 100% is a whole body, whole existence, whole mind and spirit and heart knowing that it's a yes. Yes. You know what? Doing that, saying that, going there, being with those friends, that will create inner peace for me. And if it creates inner peace, it will create outer peace, and that means it affects the world. So it's either a 100% hell yes, that is a yes, 100%, or it's 99% no. So 99% no, 100% yes. And so that's where you can follow your GPS. Because listen, have you ever heard the statements where they say you can be following your GPS, and if you're off, if you're traveling far distances, if you're only off even by 1% or a percentage of a percent, you could be in a whole new country or continent, depending on where you're headed if you're in a boat. Yeah, that's the same for your life, right? If you're going, well, I'm going to run my life on 99%, you will never be 100% spot on with exactly where you want to be. Just makes total sense, right? So getting really clean and clear on what your big vision is. Pick something grandeur, right? For me, peace, hello. I mean, how many beautiful artists, musicians have said peace is the way? They had something in their mind, in their hearts, in their knowing that we get to carry on in a different way. We get to actualize it, right? Then it was a message. Now it's a lifestyle. It's a way of being. There's one thing, and I was talking to my husband this morning about this. There is an aspect of our reality as humans where we understand a concept. Again, I use the concept of like right or wrong, right? In this reality, there is right or wrong based on, rules of the road, like when you're driving a car. There's right or wrong with, not stealing and not doing things like that. Those are really big rights or wrongs. And there's the one that you made up in your head, right or wrong. You understand the concepts of right or wrong, but how many people do you know actually choose the thing that's not in the right category, it's in the wrong category? And I'm using air quotes to identify those things. How many times have you done that? Well, you know you're not supposed to, but you do. Right? You know you shouldn't, but you do anyway. Those are the right and wrong concepts. We understand the concept of right or wrong, but we do it anyway, which means we've not actually embodied what we know. Right? We've not actually embodied the right or wrong concept, because if we did, we would run down the path of always choosing the right for us path, because we know we're being it. We wouldn't even lean into the no unless there had a different meaning underneath of it. Now, that's a very general concept. Let's be fair, right? I'm using something just to speak into the idea of understanding a concept but not actually being the concept. So I understand the concept of peace, inner peace, world peace for that matter, but I'm not being it, right? There's moments where I'm feeling frustrated or angry at the world, like what's going on? Every time we get to a really great place, we're in this pandemic and things are moving forward. And in my perspective, moving forward means kind of opening back up in that space where people are being trusted to understand that, you know what, you get to wash your hands. You get to be highly aware of your surroundings. So my interpretation would be the world opens up because everyone's being gifted the knowing that they're in charge of themselves. Right? You're not in charge of your neighbor. You're in charge of you. You're the only one you can control. So why would you want it any other way? And the second that there's there is one person, we had one person diagnosed in our hospitals around here with COVID-19. Just one person. And something happened, and the next day there was like 8. Okay? There's 300,000 people in our city. There's 8 people who've been, and I don't know that anyone has really even been hospitalized from it. 8. If that's the case, okay, who knows what could have happened? Anything could have happened. Could have been a group of people, one person, whatever. But what does happen? They move us back a step in order to make the amount of people that gather less. Like, they're going to punish us now for stepping over the line and too many people got together. I don't know. They're making it up. But instead of moving forward, we're moving backward, and I'm getting frustrated by that. Is that me being peaceful? No. Far from it. It's not me being peaceful at all. It's me being frustrated and angry at society and reality, and what am I actually choosing to cause that, right? So understanding the concept of peace is one thing, because I do understand it. But being peace would be me, like, I don't know, Gandhi, understanding, he was the epitome of peace. Being in jail and knowing peace for humanity, no matter what, even though he was imprisoned forever. I'm sure it seemed like. He found the freedom and peace inside of the one thing that could be in everyone else's mind wrong. That's being peace right there, right? If you want to be peace, look at that example. So if we know, I hope you're getting the concept of what I'm saying. You can understand a concept of you wanting your future to look a particular way, but if you don't actually be it, it will not occur, right? That's the difference. I can totally know what peace looks like and know the concept of peace, but if I'm not being it, I'm not being it. There's a difference. So what if that's the same thing about your reality? You can have a very vague idea of what you think your reality should look like, should being the operative word, and isn't being the judgy place, and yet judge that opportunity, look at what you're looking at and go, you know what? I'm not where I'm supposed to be. My life isn't exactly what it is. It's not really where it's supposed to be. Well, there's a whole bunch of indicators there. One is you're not really super clear on where you'd like to be. And the second is you're judging where you're at right now, even though you haven't made that ultimate move to make those decisions and actually sit in the space where you can visualize what it feels like to live your life. And when I say future, I mean not, at some point in your life. So if you're, in your 20s, you're looking at it in your 30s, 40s, and 50s. Look out into the future. So that's where you get to stand. Own the truth of where you are and gift yourself that opportunity to ask yourself the question, and go back to this again, what is the life that you'd like to live, and what does it look like for yourself and for everyone else on the planet, right? Everyone else on the planet. And then go from that space. Okay, so it is peace, and it is inner peace, and what does it look like? It looks like no more war. Suddenly soldiers wake up, and they could be out in the midst of war-torn areas, and they just suddenly, on both sides, right? On our side, if we're over there, and on their side, if they're there, right? If we're in their territory, they just suddenly wake up and go, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I don't want this. I don't want to hurt people. This doesn't make sense. I'm not going to choose this anymore. And they choose out, right? And then they get into the reality and they go, what do I really want? And they start creating joy from a peaceful space, right? That's one example of how I imagine what life could be like in a peaceful reality, in my peaceful reality, right? So I'm creating inner peace in the knowing and inner peace and outer peace at the same time, because our outside is a direct reflection of our inside. And so when I'm imagining that, I'm really truly imagining war-torn countries with humans waking up one morning suddenly getting that they love their neighbor, that they love the people that they're staring at in the face, that they felt called to come fight against. For what reason? They don't even connect with any longer. They can't even recall what that is. And even if they do, it makes no sense. And so they get to choose something different. That's just one aspect of how I see inner peace for me. The inner prayer, right? That's occurring. I hold on to that. And my reticular activating system is going to show me evidence of peace in my world because that's what I choose to stare at. That is the program that I like to lean into, right? And so along the way, I move the programs out of the way that cause me to not experience that. And so we're going to talk about that after the break because we're going to go into our next break. And in this moment, I want you to sit again. Ask yourself the question. Take a second, right? What do I want? What do I want the world to look like as I'm living in it? What do other people experience with me when I'm living in that world, right? So beautiful. So beautiful. So let me know when we come back somehow via social media, email, hop onto my website, but what is that big vision? And let's actualize it. So we're on the Inspired Choice Network, Inspired Choices Network. How appropriate. You're listening to me, Wendy Paquette, and we're talking about all things magic in your mind on the Crossroads to Awakening show, and we will be right back.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening. This is Crossroads to Awakening radio show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now back to the program.
Okay, everybody, did you take some time? I mean, really, it's just a short moment. And ask yourself, what does the world look like when you're in it? Your big vision. How are people responding to you? How are you responding to others? What does that look like, right? Play in the big garden of life, sharing all the fruits of everything. I mean, just lean around the world and look at what it looks like even in right now what we would call third world countries with the children drinking dirty water. I mean, honestly, have never been more embarrassed as a human in this reality to say that that's even occurring with the level of connection that we have around the globe with the internet, with, planes, trains, and automobiles. Like, how are we not making that something that doesn't exist, right? Where are we living from that they're still living that way? We're living in a world so abundant here in North America that for them to even see how we live, it would probably be just as disgusting, right? And that's not from a judgment space. I'm going to speak about myself, so none of you will get even remotely close to feeling judged in this. For me, for someone from a third world country who has to drink crappy, parasite-ridden water to live on. If they saw my life, the amount of books I have, the art, all of the beautiful things that I have, and the amount that I have of it, it's probably just as disgusting because I'm not truly, to them, maybe in connection with me. I don't truly value the human-to-human connection that they have. They've got something that is, I would say, if you looked at us as yin and yang, right? Perhaps we have the physical representation of abundance. They may have the internal, spiritual, energetic aspect of abundance, right? Putting those two pieces together, us learning from them to see how they connect with one another, how they love one another, and then them learning from us what it looks like to actually be maybe financially abundant, and with some of the, and not even like the way we live, but something more like potentially simpler that would cause their reality to look a little different. But to drink flippin' clean water, like seriously, how many times have you seen these people that are supporting those in Africa or somewhere where they're creating the wells? Yeah, that, you know how many times I've donated to that? I just can't, not even, because it just gets to change. And so in my world of peace, it will look like that, because instead of people fighting in wars, they're going to go to those countries and serve them. Serve them. They're not going to serve in war. They're going to serve in love. Right? Show up and serve in love and change the world so we can all live in a place that's so beautiful and lovely. You know, it's almost never imagined. And that's where I invite you to go. And go into the spaces in your mind that you see something that's not working, and see it working. See it working in your relationships, right? See the relationships working. See your life working. See whatever you're seeing around the globe, see it working, so that we can live in that world, right? So we can live there and then eliminate the programs that are in the way. So I have a really funny story. I did a meditation this morning in the bathtub where all great things happen. And I saw my role in this reality being the invitation to others to leave from their space of love, from their heart space, and truly using the portal of your heart as the multidimensional space of 5D living, where you can access that space of possibility in every aspect because you can see it from the space of love. That is truly where I would like to see us all headed, right? That is part of my big vision as well. But what I saw was, I work with the programs that are stuck in your brain, right? Those programs are where you're going to see over and over and over again in your reality. That's why I call them programs. They're also called lies, right? They're lies that we're looking at, and we're seeing the indicator of what it is. Like, here's the true example. If you're speaking to someone and they say something that causes an emotional response in you that's anything but joy or love or peace, then you're identifying a lie that you bought about yourself. So someone else is showing up to give you an experience to cause you to see a program or a lie that you bought about yourself. Now, I work with humans to eliminate, transmute, transform that lie, that program, to source energy expressed as you. So more of you everywhere. Awesome. So that's why your big vision is so important. Because when you're carrying the big vision, it's more of you in that big vision. When I transmute with you those programs, those lies, and it fills up with more of you, what would you like to fill it up with? Your big vision, right? The vision of peace or love or whatever it is that you would love to pull into this reality. That is what you like to see more of, and I know that others would like to experience. So how I see that in, say, a visual of what it looks like to walk in my shoes, for a day, to see these programs. I can see and read frequency in your brain, in your mind. I say mind is bigger, but brain. Call them programs, lies, that are stopping you up from actualizing the life you know you get to create and you know is possible. You just don't know how. What I saw was there is a portal that every single human has. The portal is in the heart space. It is the love frequency portal, like it's in that space. That's where we're all headed. What happens when you run into someone or something that causes an emotional response is it's like an electrical fence. You get zapped, right? All of a sudden you're zapped. The zapping causes an instantaneous emotional response. That's not good. It's not a good response. It's either a frustration, an irritation, an anger, a sadness, something that's other than joy. It's only an indicator. Okay, so this is the most beautiful part. If it's a program, the program, I'm here to tell you, can be transformed, can be changed, can be eliminated. It can be. I do it. I've been doing it for 7 years with other humans, and you get to do it as well, right? So know that if you're running into things that are constantly causing you grief, pain, sadness, those programs are programs, and they can be changed. Now, this whole entire show, the magic in your mind, is to bring you to the realization that this reality, this beautiful gift of living, in this temple called the body, individual temple, right? So we're all one, yes. Energetically, holographically, quantum, all one. And we're embodied into this human vessel that I call a temple. That's amazing. And it could do many, many things. It could look many different ways. It could feel many different ways. And it is being in the world run by you. So the body's doing things in the world, like driving the car, going to work, being a representation of a beautiful human with a vision, right? With a vision. So if you don't have one, you get to create one, right? It's not a big deal. You don't have to go out and buy one with money. You get to just sit with yourself, give yourself the most beautiful gift on the planet of time, the only thing that you can't get back, the most human constructed aspect of this reality, of this 3D reality, is time, right? So if you're going to live in the 3D reality space and look at time as something, guess what? You got very limited amount of it. And you'll probably find that everywhere you go. That's a big fat program itself. And if it is, gift yourself some of that value of time and decide what you would like your world to look like and how it would feel and how others would respond and what it looks like around the globe inside of this big vision that you would like to create and be. And then let's go from there, because it starts in your mind. Your mind is the thinker. It's the writer of the program. It's the zeros and the ones your brain creates. And it is on purpose. It is a supercomputer. It's running all the time. It's a 3D reality. Now, granted, we're moving into a fifth dimensional experience, which is a multi-dimensional experience. But in order to get there, I once had a conversation with, clients that they're upset, and maybe not upset, but they were a little bothered by the fact that I said, you know what, you won't have emotions in the multidimensional experience. And they were holding on to the fact that there was emotions that would be gone. But it's not that you're deleting emotions. It's that those programs that are causing the lower frequency emotions are allowing you to step into almost like a quantum blissful space, right? Let's give it that. And even that, because it's a word and it's emotion, doesn't actually exist there, but it is a space of bliss that you can't buy. You just can't buy it. But if you could, you would buy it with time. And time with you, right? That valuable space where you get to spend time with you creating your vision so you can have it and access that blissful state in this reality that you can have right now through the vision. Through your vision, whatever it is, right? It's going to be something great. It's you. If you're listening to this, I know it's great because I call in and resonate with those of you beautiful humans on this planet who are here and know that they get to make a bigger impact than they've been making so far. And yes, it's frustrating to know that you think you're not where you're supposed to be, but I'm here to tell you something. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Especially if you're listening to me right now, you are exactly where you get to be, knowing that you're not alone, knowing that there is a way forward, there is a way in, there is a way out, whatever way you want to look at it. There is a freedom in knowing that the programs can be changed, the reticular activating system can be reset to 100% in alignment with your big vision, and visualizing and getting into that big vision is the key, right? That having the vision, it doesn't cost you anything but time, right? You can't go buy it. There's no buying your big vision. So I'm gifting you the permission right now to sit with yourself as we head into our next break and our final break at that, I believe, is you're going to take this valuable moment that you've been given. And I'm going to prescribe, and not as a doctor because I am not that, but prescribe you to sit with yourself and allow yourself to see life differently, to see your reality in this big vision that you know is in your head that you would like to experience. Not that you know it's possible, because we'll get there next time, but it is possible, right? But don't bombard your brain with more shit to process. Just allow yourself a moment during this next break to ask yourself again, what do you want? What does the world look like if it were be the most blissful place you could live? What does it look like? What is your your personal life look like? And just give it some color. Just allow it to come in and give it some color and go, you know what, it'd be really peaceful or be really joyful or really blissful or really passionate. Whatever it is, I don't care. I know it's going to be beautiful because you are that. So give yourself that moment. We're heading into break. When we come back, we're going to discuss further your big vision, what it looks like to actualize it, how you can, and how you can reach me to actualize it in a different way, because I'm coming out with a new surprise. It's going to be a program that's going to support you in this, and I'll let you know what it is when we come back from this break. I'll see you in a minute. Or two.
If you could wave a magic wand and have your life be anything you wanted it to be, what would it look like? Professional dancer, CEO of a multi-million-dollar earth-conscious company, a screenwriter with top billing shows, and ultimately have the boldness to move about the world without emotional blocks standing in your way, therefore having the confidence to achieve anything you put your mind to. That's what Wendy Paquette knows is possible for you. The first step is understanding why you don't believe it too, or why you do, and yet haven't created it. Put on your possibility goggles and join Wendy now, because you're at the Crossroads to Awakening. This is Crossroads to Awakening radio show with your host, Wendy Paquette. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now back to the program.
Okay, everybody. So you know what? You had that moment. And my prayer for you is that you discover that there is a greater aspect in your vision that you can hold on to, that you can be 100% sure in alignment with. Not 99, but 100% sure. And that is what we get to work with. I mean, if you've even leaned in, you've already done half the work. Because the second that you grab hold of what that vision is, the moment that it becomes real in your mind, just like every other program that you have bought. And let's just say there's some crappy programs out there, like you're not good enough, you don't have what it takes, you're not lovable, you don't trust people, you don't trust yourself. There's all kinds of crazy, crappy programs out there. Let's place a great one in there, okay? When you start looking at all those crappy programs, you start seeing evidence of it everywhere you look. Let's face it, it's everywhere, right? But that is the result of your reticular activating system in your mind showing it to you, because that's what you've programmed. So I'm here to support you with programming something better, right? Something new and something that you want to experience. You don't want to experience those crappy programs that are in there. You want to experience the beautifulness of who you be, what your world could actually look like, and on purpose, generate experiences that match that show it to you, that show you to you, right? That's what this reality is for. It's for magic and play and possibility and creativity and abundance everywhere you look. What if your big vision was abundance? What if you just called it that, right? Big visions sometimes shift and change, not often, but a lot of the times, because you can find something bigger than that. In abundance, you can find peace and abundance, right? So I'm looking at that aspect, and I may have gone through those over the years. I just really didn't put a label on it. But start somewhere, because then if you say you chose abundance as your lead vision, and you're 100% with that as your lead vision, then everything you did, you get to ask yourself, will this create abundance? Right? You get to be 100% in alignment with that vision, with that big vision. If it's 100%, yes, you know what, this will create abundance, then the answer is yes, I'm choosing it. If it's yes, it might create abundance. That's like a 99, right? It might create abundance. Well, if I add this, that, and the other, that's no. You know what? That's where all the crazy bumps and crevices and pitfalls and you name it, all the crappy parts of that come from, because you've actually chose 99% of it not aligned. 100% is aligned, if it creates abundance in reality, abundance is the big vision, you're going to see it everywhere. So then we activate the reticular activating system so it sees abundance everywhere. It sees abundance everywhere. It sees abundance everywhere, right? And that is where you want to be, in this space where you have that big vision. So let me tell you quickly about my new program. It is right now in creation mode, but it's nearly complete. And what it is called, and this is all for you, it's everything for you so you can step into it. It's mastering visualization. So being a master visualizer, right? It's accessing and breaking through your own programs so that you can have everything you've ever wanted, because you're in charge. If not you, then who? Who would you like to put in charge of your life? And you really, truly believe that they're going to actually get you there? They have their own life to live. You get to be in charge of your life. So that is the new program coming out. I'm just dripping it to you now. It doesn't even have any place for you to sign up, but it does have the invitation. So go to wendypaquette.com and send me a message and say, I want in. And if you want in, I'll send you a special invitation with a special gift so that you could actually step into it as soon as possible and begin to live the life you've always dreamed of. If not, you've always dreamed of, that you want, that you know you really want, because you get to step into it. It takes time and effort and, intention. Oh, does it take intention? But that's what I'm here for, to be the guide. I'll be your guide, your captain, the second mate with you in your vision in order to create that. Because this planet needs you. These people on this planet need you. Your world needs you. Your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, everyone in your countries, they need you right now, especially when we're at the critical point of choosing, right? Standing together, banding together to create a better world isn't by following all the rules when you know they don't work and then being angry that you chose it. It's by standing and banding together to create that different world, because guess what? Those at the top can't move if no one budges around the bottom, right? As they see it, as a pyramid style. So as we're coming to the end of the show, I've walked you through this space where magic is in your mind and how you can have everything you want and anything you want. This is how. I'm going to walk you right through all the steps in this new program that's coming out, so you'll be able to just step by step by step into it with me as your guide. It's not hard. It's easy, right? It's going to take effort, but it's easy. And you get to have it because you're an amazing human. And this world is filled with you. So we get to see more of it. So step in. I'm so blessed to be able to have this opportunity to talk to all of you, to speak about what I'm so passionate about. And I can't wait to spend more time with you, to create possibilities in this world that I would love to live in as well. So come play with me and let's create a space that is the better place for our children and their children and their children's children and all that beautifulness on this planet. So you're listening to the Crossroads to Awakening, and that's awakening for a reason. You're awakening to your own possibilities, and you have so many. You just haven't realized it yet. And if you have, and you haven't gotten there, this is the perfect place for you, right? It's all walks of life. All you get to know is that you have somewhere greater to go. Whether that's in your reality, in your career, in your life, it doesn't matter. You get to go there. This is the space for that. So let's play again next week. We're going to dip into maybe a scarcity mindset and clean all that stuff out. But until then, let me tell you, friends, I love you. And I'm so excited for you. And I'm so thrilled to be able to share all this beautiful work with you. I will see you next week right here at this time, 2 o'clock Eastern on Mondays. Mwah. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you for choosing to listen to the Crossroads to Awakening radio show. Wendy Paquette will return next Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, and 11 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We look forward to you joining us again. Until then, enjoy your journey and we'll meet you at the crossroads.